Good evening. I'm sorry about my voice tonight. I'm going to sound like crap because I kind of feel that way. Tonight's just going to be a pretty basic session of priming and base coating. This is just ice tape. Okay. So I don't know how many of you were with me when I broke one of my airbrushes on stream. I tweaked the nozzle just a little too much when I was after I cleaned it, and that just was enough to tear it in half. And then I thought I didn't have a replacement nozzle for it, but it turns out I did. I went back and looked through all my stuff, and I found that I had done the smart thing, and I had ordered actually a 3-pack of nozzles, 0.2, 0.3, and 0.5. Now I've kind of gone back to the philosophy of realized I still had the TV on. Go back to the philosophy of dedicating airbrushes to specific jobs because, I mean, it'll last longer that way. Anyway, so I figured I'd turn this one, which I've been using just for everything, into exclusively for priming and base coating, so extra coverage. So right now it has the largest nozzle I have in it, which means it also has the largest needle at 0.5 millimeters. And tonight the job is going to be to get, these are charms from Hollow Knight. They're part of my oldest son's Halloween costume. We started doing Hollow Knight last year. I printed an old nail for him and said, each year we can just update it a little bit. He's got this great cloak that looks very much like the Knight's cloak. Nice and raggedy around the edges in all the right ways. His mother found that. Props, major props. That was an excellent thought. So, I also have Mech Lube. This is an order. It's 3D printed custom terrain. It's designed for the scale of use of Battletech and Alpha Strike. If you are familiar with Battletech, but not Alpha Strike, don't worry. Alpha Strike is basically where they adopted Warhammer style rules, and it plays a lot faster, but you still get the big stompy mechs out of it. Also, I have learned the amazing, wondrous thing that are filters for OBS. So hopefully this will filter out most of the noise from my fan. Oh, one other thing that I'm excited about. I said I needed to replace the filter for my blowout pot. I found them. I apparently knocked them onto the floor. So we're going to up the air pressure. We don't want it at 40. We want it about 32. We're going to see a nice blow out of that already. Pardon me. I'm sorry. Got a nasty cold. But we'll get a wider spray pattern should be able to get this covered pretty quickly. This will be the third of this building I've done. It's a fun model put out by Shayak 3D. As with most things 3D printed, I really charge for, if you just want the building, I charge for materials, because if it's not my design, I'm not going to try and pretend. Okay. Yeah. Whoop. We are going to turn down this pressure. We are going to turn down this pressure. All right. Oh no. Nope. No. Nope. Turn down a little more. I'm used to working with about a 0.3. Turn down a little more. So the rate this is coming out is fantastic, and yet a little more shown, a little more different. A little more shown, a little more different. All right, so the charms are all done. We got really fast coverage out of it. I'm going to turn this one kind of. Really fast coverage out of it. I'm going to turn this one. I am waiting for this to finish drying a little bit, because I do need to get the underside drying a little bit, because so I do need to get tip drying again. We'll just give it a quick wiggle out. And we'll just give so very right-handed. I really should put the camera on the other side. I'm so very right-handed. I really should put the camera on the other side. Oh, goodness. I don't know why it's echoing. Let's take off the noise gate filter. Goodness. Also, I don't know why hi, Jess. Let's take off the noise gate filter. Also, hi, Jess. Hopefully this is better. Hopefully this is better. Oh, that's why. Ah, nope. I had an additional audio source to find. That was not okay. Let's put that noise gate back in. Is that any better, Jess? Thank you. Just spray some air at it. Now you'll notice that some of these aren't quite as light as you might expect. The material is still porous. So, as these are 3D printed, I did these in PLA. I still did some top ironing, but down in the cracks and each where the um, layer changes, you can see it's going to absorb some of that paint or primer. The primer is going to help mitigate that and be that, once it dries, first form that first layer of defense. So the guy that wants this building, uh, I asked, "Do you want any customizations on it?" I put graffiti on mine. Um, he said he wants it to say "Clanners go home." So we'll do that on the back with an itty bitty brush. While I'm waiting for that, plop that in. For some odd reason, I left my paper towels in the kitchen. I rarely use paper towels in the kitchen. That's what towels are for, right? Excuse me. I think I may have fixed the problem with one of my fancy airbrushes. I have a pair of Grex XGIs and I love them to death, but they both started acting funny. And very, very nervous that I am going to have to send one of them back. The folks at Grex are amazing about customer service. They are here in the States, so it's fairly easy to get a hold of them if you're on the East Coast, that is. They are a West Coast based company. I think I just started putting this on backwards. I did. That was silly of me. It's been so long. There we are. Excellent. Mixing chamber, magnetic guide, easy access to all the parts that you could possibly need to swap and clean. Like I said, very much a fan. Right. First thing I'm going to do while I wait for this to dry, I'm going to attach this. And, all right, plenty of air going in. If I turn up the pressure, I could actually inflate the glove on my hand because I'm 12, and that's amusing to me. All right, squirt a little water in. Got a good stream. Didn't have any bubbling back here. I can show you the issue. I've got the other brush here. I love using this. It is still double action. You pull it a little way and it starts the air, and then it begins the needle control. My problem with this brush, however, I'm still working on it. We're going to do the same test. I'm going to try and get you guys a view. See that bubbling? That means the air is, instead of all coming out of the chamber, it's all coming out through the nozzle. It's going back up into the chamber, and that can be a big problem. So, look. Dump. Oop. Go. So, this brush is temporarily out of commission, but it's fantastic when it works. All right. Rex XGI. And we're going to, real quick, try this with some paint in it and grab something I'm pretty sure is thin enough. I want this. This bone white, which may or may not be thin enough, but we're going to start with thinner, flow improver, and just 1 or 2 drops of paint in there. And naturally stir it up. There we go. We're just going to see if it flows out or if it bubbles. All right. Still no bubbles in there. Oh, that's lovely. Nicely thinned. Really quick test. We're all done. The problem with my setup here is it never seems to be finished. Now that I've got multiple brushes back in commission, I'm painting more desperately need a place to mount the brushes over here. I think that'll happen when I replace the table, though. I'm just going to 3D print something for it, though. All right. Our quick test, our quick empty. I can't tell anything from that. Still pretty wet. I'm going to go ahead and flip it, because I want to get this underside bridge. Well, that was well timed. Okay. So we're empty. I'm going to just gently shove these to the side. All right. Little water. All right, let's get to cleaning. Put some water through first. I can see that it had time to dry in there. So rather than try and force that through, run my swab through at an angle and pick it up all on there. Ten, 20, 30, yeah, 31. Oh yeah, that got it moving. See if I can get you a little better view of this. There we are. You can see it draining nicely. Some of this gook up. All right. It's starting to flow more smoothly. The more cleaner that cycles through, the faster this should go down. Wipe off the tip. Bob around the nozzle with some cleaner. Gently swab off the nozzle, or the needle. Get the needle and nozzle with a little cleaner. This looks nice, so we're going to reassemble the front end. I'm not pleased with how this is looking. I've let too much build up on here. I thought I'd gotten it all last time. There it is. Airbrushers best friends when it comes time for cleaning. Oh, I've broken most of it down. Get out the brushes. Oh, that's much better. Excellent. Okay. Now I'm going to put my finger over the end and just take a look, see if anything solid comes up when I let back pressure in. Of course, because it's soap in here, it's going to bubble up. And it got a little hazier. We're just going to run it through. Now, I can see that it's coming out at a pretty terrific rate. That's good. Oops. Eh, all right. That emptied pretty quick. Some water in there. Really just clean the paint residue out, or the soap residue out. Why it's all bubbly. So once you get your pressure settings dialed in and your medium properly thinned, a whole cup of this goes a very long way. I did this with just under a half cup. And I'm going to check it again. Bubbled it a good bit. Nothing solid came up. Still going to give it a quick scrub. Again, I'm terribly sorry about the coughing. All right, nice and clean. And I'm going to set it upside down to finish drying. Or rather, start drying. Usually, once it's mostly dry, I will spray a little 91% isopropyl alcohol in it to kind of finish the cleaning process and also accelerate the final drying. Okay, So it is awesome, Jess. I actually was tempted to build one of those. They are hot. We're going to start with London Gray. And we can bubble this a little to finalize the mix. Oh, I have missed you, my little Grexy. Just like that, I'm out of paint. Beautiful flow. Mix another little batch. Out of primer. What is wrong with you? Oh, that's why it's going so fast. I had the pressure too high. For paint, I want it to be around 22 psi, not 32. All right, now I'm going to mix in Stonewall Gray and add some highlights. All right, and there we have a base coat. And now there's a tiny bit of paint left in this. Very tiny. Quick rinse. Clean. Then we'll switch colors. See that? Still got paint down there. Why I check it periodically. That may have just come out with water, but I don't want to take the chance. Bubble up. Not loose anything that might be solid. And it did turn it more of a murky gray, which I can't really show you. Any fellow streamers out there, are you ever satisfied with your setup? Or are you like me and constantly thinking everything needs to be tweaked? There, I bubbled it and it stayed water clear. Yep, that's just water. That is a wet hand. Okay, good. Okay. So these are small, and I want to not worry about constantly knocking paint off of them when I pick them up. So I'm going to put these up on happy little handle. All right, I'm going to start with bone white. Back down, a little more level. This one was pretty thick. You can see how it's still pretty thick on the shaker. I'm going to add a touch more thinner. Cool. Ah. There we are. Okay, let's see. Okay, this needs more coverage from the top. Down those channels. Then we're going to go. Arm is sliding because I spilled so much water on here. There. Okay. Now, I still have a tiny bit left in here, and I want to bring the color up for some highlights. I think to stick with the aesthetic, I want to go with a gloss white as the highlight, even though I'm just adding it to what's already here. So let's set the brush down. Don't have a mixing ball in here. I already thinned it, but that's kind of odd. I mean, not for me. I could definitely use more thinner. There we go. Bring it up nicely. A little more white. There. We're getting there. Okay. I'm going to go what I'm perceiving as the top down on all of these. A little extra control. Just enough to raise the shade a little bit. Not over the whole thing. It's not a lot. It's fairly subtle. But the rest of what I'll do is going to be with a regular brush, not an airbrush. All right. And now I can definitely tell that the Dayquil has worn off. I'm going to clean my brush. there. I twisted this closed already because reasons. Solids off. Tip. Well, that's right. The corrections don't quite fit the angle if I've got the hand rest on, so. Like, why is it not spraying out like I expected it to? Because it is partially blocked. And now you watch it empty a lot faster. Filled this nearly to the brim. That's good. Oh, I see a solid bit. Get that out of there. There, now we're going down pretty quick. You need to remember to put a trash bag down right over, or trash can right over here. The reason that got cloudy is I thought this was clean. It's not. It's covered in white paint. Still blowing through. Oh yeah, nope, nope, nope. So squirted that down into the end, and I saw a solid chip come up. I love these. This work. I don't know if it's going to get picked up on camera, but there are a bunch of little solids down in there. Trying to figure out how to get the angle on it. But they've been broken away by the cleaner, and then just a little pressure from the water knocked it all the way loose. And no more are coming up. So that tells me we got that pocket, and that's good. Oop. Right. My one gripe with these is sometimes you'll think you're done cleaning. You want to double check down here. Sometimes paint will bubble back up into this seal or still be hiding down in the chamber. This is looking good and clean though. So I'm just going to leave this off, pop it, set it upside down, and we're going to call it a night because Dennis took a sick day today because he feels the ick. And I want to be ready for when my kids come back to me this weekend. So thanks everybody for stopping by, and I'll talk to you soon.